My legs are not going all that fast. Well, we're hitting 32. Ooh, it's a struggle. We're getting there. I do hear that chain slapping around a bit. What's up, guys? It's Alex from Maximum Charge, and this is the CirQ X1 Premiere e-mountain bike. This is a 52-volt option for hitting the trails, and it comes with a lightweight hardtail aluminum frame, an aggressive riding position with lower, wide handlebars and a hard, narrower seat, upgraded RST guide suspension fork, and a pretty big 20 amp hour battery. So I was going over the parts of this e-bike, and I was actually very pleasantly surprised to see some of the higher quality upgraded parts that this e-bike has that other e-bikes don't have in this price range. And if you guys do want to check out this bike, it is listed in the description below, along with any other coupon codes or discount codes that are available. So today we're going to check out the specs and components of the CirQ X1 Premiere e-mountain bike, and then take it out on the road for a spin. Let's jump right in. All right, guys, let's go ahead and take a look at the specs and components of the CirQ X1 Premiere e-mountain bike. Let's start at the top. We've got some locking rubber grips, thumb throttle, and some Tektro hydraulic disc brake levers, control panel and display, we'll take a look at that later, 7-speed Shimano trigger shifter, and a handy bell. And these handlebars are on the wider and lower side to give you more control off-road. Moving on down, here's our cable management. And the front fork does come with a preload and lockout adjustment. Decently bright front headlight with a reflector underneath. 4x26-inch Kenda knobby tires. Quick release for the front wheel. And these are RST guide forks, which are a little bit better than most forks you get on these budget e-mountain bikes. And the rims on this bike do have holes drilled in them, which does save a little bit of weight and adds a certain aesthetic. And correct me if I'm wrong, but it also adds a little bit more stability to the tire tube inside. It tends to stay centered, and it also helps soften the tires a little bit. These holes tend to relieve some pressure from when the tire hits a bump. I could be wrong, let me know in the comments below. 180mm rotors in the front and the back with the Tektro hydraulic brake caliper. Nice looking welds on the frame and a nice silver paint job on the X1 step over frame. 20 amp hour battery is integrated into the frame. Charge port cover. Water bottle mounts. Basic metal pedals. And here's our controller back here, which is a 25 amp controller, which means that this 750 watt nominal Bafang motor will peak at 1300 watts. The seat on this bike is decently wide, but it is not very squishy. It is made for aggressive mountain biking. You don't want a giant seat when you're doing some hardcore mountain biking, and this seat is more geared for performance. And back here we have a little battery operated light, which does have two different modes. It can either blink or it gives you the solid red light. And this light is also removable. Moving on back, guys, here's our 7-speed transmission. And we really know this is truly made for mountain biking, because look at this hill climbing granny gear. This is a mega range Shimano 7-speed freewheel. And this thing will help you climb some big hills. It'll give you a lot of torque. Shimano Altus derailleur with no derailleur guard. Here's a little carbon fiber looking chain stay protector. And here's our medium-sized chain ring with 2 chain ring guards. And to remove the battery, you used the supplied key. Throw that in, turn the key, and then you go ahead and turn this lever down here, which releases the battery, and we can take it out. And there's some battery information right there. And to put the battery back in, you throw the bottom back in place. Make sure you have the key and it's turned to the left. Push the battery back in. It'll click in place. Turn the key to the right, remove the key, and you are good to go. And this bike does come with a 3 amp passively cooled charger. Next up, let's take a look at the functions of the display. So we'll go ahead and turn it on. Hold this power button down. There's our nice CirQ logo. And looks like we've got battery voltage up here. Very nice that they include that. Of course, you've got your time the bike has been on, and you can cycle through range, trip distance, max speed, average speed, odometer. So you get a lot of info here, your range. To turn the headlight on, you just hold this top button down. And holding the minus button down here gives you a walk mode, which will give you a slow 4 miles an hour of power. And it looks like you can also see the wattage of your bike, which is really nice. So CirQ has really provided a fantastic display so you can see all the important information that you need, like speed, watts, and voltage. And you also get a little USB charge port underneath. And with this bike, you get 9 levels of pedal assist. And to get into the advanced settings of this display, you double tap the power button twice very quickly. And here's our basic settings where you can adjust the language, kilometers or miles an hour, the screen brightness, the auto off time, so how long your bike stays on if you're not using it. You can switch your battery indicator from off, percentage, or the voltage. I really like voltage, of course. You can also switch the power indicator from current or to watts. I like watts, so we're gonna keep it there. You can change the clock and your starting password. Here's our wheel size where we can adjust the speedometer accuracy. You can turn on and off that USB port in the display. Light sensor, so you can adjust the auto headlight. Let's go ahead and get into the advanced settings. And the password is gonna be 1919. And there we go, there's our speed limit. So see how the speed limit is set to 20 miles an hour? Let's go ahead and bring that all the way up, ladies and gentlemen. Let's bring that up as high as it'll go. Let's hold the button down, see if that does anything. No, it does not, so let's rapidly click away. See how high this goes. We're gonna just bring it all the way up. Looks like 99 miles an hour is our limit. Assist levels, I personally think that 9 levels of assist is too much, but if you're someone who wants a lot of power increments, that's fine. Personally, I like 3 levels, so we're gonna keep it at that. Don't touch the poles in the motor. Let's go ahead and exit out. And now let's check out the top speed of the free spinning wheel. Looks like we top out at about 31 miles an hour.
At 5'10", here's what I look like on this bike with the seat at the lowest position. Standover height is a comfortable 27 inches. Here's what the suspension travel looks like of the RST guide forks. And the weight of this bike is 80 pounds. And here are the geometry measurements of this e-bike from the website. Feel free to pause it at this point in the video if you want to get a better look at these numbers. So those are the specs and components of the CirQ X1 Premiere. Next, we're going to take it out for a test ride. Let's jump right in.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. It is a cool, crisp day out here in New England. Temperature is, I don't know, about 35 degrees Fahrenheit. And we are on the CirQ X1 Premiere, a 52-volt e-mountain bike. This thing has some pretty nice parts. Besides the fact that it's 52 volts, which is fantastic. There's a lot of 48-volt e-bikes out there. This has a nicer upgraded derailleur, a nicer front fork. The frame looks pretty nice. It's a hardtail bike, but that's okay. That makes it lighter, simpler, less clunky. For a budget e-mountain bike, I think hardtail is the way to go. Display is super customizable. I see my voltage, I see my wattage. And what we'll start off with is our 0 to 20 test. We'll start at this sewer grate right here. This is going to be throttle only, fully fresh charge. The battery just left a room temperature environment. Without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, 3, 2, 1, go. All right, speedometer looks pretty accurate. This is pedal assist 1. Yeah, 16 miles an hour, 16, more or less accurate. Good. Moving on down to our main hill climb test. I really like this test because I think this is a good real world test. You're not always going to be climbing the steepest hills, but you're also not always going to be on flat ground. This is a long, mildly sloped hill. It is a beautiful morning, ladies and gentlemen. The sun is coming up. It's about 7:30 in the morning. Stop at this sewer grate, and before we do that, it is a little bit chilly, so let's turn on our Savior heated gloves. It is going to get up to the mid-60s today, thankfully, and we are doing 2 other review rides after this. So, bring it up to pedal assist 3, actually. I reduced it to 3. You can go all the way up to 9 levels with this bike. because this display is very customizable. This is one of the best displays. So let's get to it, guys. Without further ado, main hill climb test, 3, 2, 1, throttle only, boom. No delay whatsoever between the throttle and the bike delivering power. That is fantastic. And if you guys like content like this, please feel free to subscribe to the channel if I have earned your subscription. Like the video if you like it, hit the notification bell. And if you don't like the video, if you don't like this bike, tell me why in the comments. Tell me why you're mad. Guys, we got some good power. We're probably gonna cross over our finish line at 20 miles an hour. There it is, 20 miles an hour. All right, that was good. That was solid. Let's check the free spinning wheel top speed. See what we got. 34 miles an hour. Okay. And now we're going to check the downhill speed. All right, we're hitting about 33. We're getting to the free spinning RPM. And now we're going to head over to our steep hill climb test. And guys, this bike is an e-mountain bike, so it has wider handlebars for more control. And as you could tell, it's a tight fit between this telephone pole and this wall, especially with my bar end mirror. So just keep that in mind. It's good if you want maximum control in the trails. But these are some wide handlebars, and they are on the lower side too. Again, this is not geared for 100% comfort. Even the seat is on the harder side. It's on the smaller side. Made for aggressive mountain biking. And we'll take this thing off-road today. We'll do a little bit of off-roading. We're on pedal assist 1, just pedaling, using low amounts of power. We could save as much energy as possible to get to our main steep hill climb test, and then right after the top speed test. All right, here we go, guys. Starting at the line, rolling start into the steep hill test. 52 volts. See how this goes. Throttle only. All right. Not bad. 8 miles an hour. That's pretty solid. And look at that. The speedometer is dead on. That's good. Pulling about 1,300 watts right now. All right. 8 miles an hour. 20 mile an hour brake test. Yeah, brakes work great. What do you expect? Hydraulic disc brakes, they do what they're designed to do. And now we're gonna head on down to our top speed testing site. Let's test the brakes again. 20 miles an hour. Yeah, these brakes work. Fantastic. These are Tektro hydraulic disc brakes, 180 millimeter rotors. Brakes work fantastic, guys. So heading over to our top speed test, there is very little lag between the pedal assist sensor and when I get power. I probably turn the pedals maybe a quarter of the way, and I get immediate power, and pretty much immediate power from the throttle also. So I do really appreciate that. Some of these bikes, they have such big delays in the pedal assist sensor and the throttle. It's terrible, and this one thankfully does not have that. Great sensitivity for both of those parts. Alright guys, we're gonna do our top speed test. We'll start by pedaling hard and then let throttle take over. See how fast we get. I did put 30 psi of pressure into each tire. My guess is that we're gonna hit about 30. See what happens. Here we go. Pedal hard. Alright, let throttle take over. We're on the highest pedal assist level. I set it to 3 levels. Pulling 1250 watts. 1300 watts, 28, we're ducked down, guys, 29, here we go. Can I get 30? Give me 30, baby, let's go. Come on, I'm ducking down. Come on, 30. 29 is all we get. That's pretty good. I'm actually totally fine with that top speed because you're not going to get a bike like this for commuting around. You're going to get this for off-roading. Why would you ever want to hit 30 miles an hour on an off-road trail? I mean, I guess you could if you really wanted to, but for the most part, you're probably not going to be going all that fast. You're more worried about the torque, the gearing, the balance, the control. So we'll test our off-roading section over here. And the downside about putting 30 psi into your tires is that it is a little bit bumpy, especially with the hardtail. So this isn't going to be the most comfortable ride, especially with the harder seat. But that's not what this bike is designed for. You're probably going to have your butt off the seat anyways if you're doing some aggressive riding. We got to be a little bit careful here today because the grass still has some morning dew on it, has some moisture, so isn't exactly the driest surface. But right now, just doing this, I feel a lot of control with the aggressive riding position and the wider handlebars. So if you're looking for a high performance e-mountain bike that gives you that classic mountain bike feel where you can tackle single track trails, this would be a solid option. And it's a pretty good price too. 52 volts. We got to 29 miles an hour. We did unlock this bike. We always get as much speed as possible. But it's within the legal realm of e-bikes as well. I don't know how some trails do it. I know some trails, they don't even allow e-mountain bikes on there. And some of them are like, no throttle, only pedal assist. I don't know, I guess you could disconnect your throttle if you want. But what is important is you get that instantaneous response from the pedaling. Very important, especially if you're gonna have an e-mountain bike. You wanna actually use your legs. You want to be pedaling, you want to be a part of the experience in riding this bike and not just be taken for a ride. Like some other bikes that are, let's say, faster, they're not really designed for mountain biking though. They are more commuters, right? Like some of the moped style e-bikes out there. This is a different type of bike. I know for a lot of people, it comes down to top speed, battery size, and price. And I get that. I get it. But sometimes that's not all that matters, especially in off-road situations, like if you're trying to mountain bike. And what is nice about this mountain bike is that it looks like a regular bike. Yeah, see, right now I'm not even touching the seat, and I'm just kind of letting the bike do its job, pedaling here and there, but we're crushing it, guys. But anyways, back to what I was saying, what's nice about this bike is that it looks like a normal bike. It doesn't look like a motorcycle. So you'll probably get less issues with the police or just people giving you a stink eye on the trail, thinking, what's this guy doing bringing his motorcycle to the single track mountain bike trail? This looks like a normal fat tire mountain bike. Obviously people can tell it's an e-bike, but you're not pushing it. You're not pushing that limit. Crossing the road. Jumping the curb. I didn't even jump that. I just let the tire do its job. The big tires, the big wheels do a fantastic job in rolling over obstacles. I mean, that's what they're designed to do. That's why you have larger diameter wheels. The tires, they sound like your typical 26 by 4 inch knobbies. Decent tread pattern on them for all around off-roading and maybe a little bit of on-road riding as well. So far we're a few miles into our ride. We're almost 5 miles, and I am feeling some pressure in my hands because of that aggressive riding position. So this isn't going to be a long-range commuter unless you really switch out a lot of the parts. Like, you can get a larger seat, you can get a handlebar riser, or just maybe BMX handlebars, something to make it a little bit more upright, to take pressure off your hands. But ultimately, this is marketed as an e-mountain bike, so you might not want to do that. And so for that reason, you get the parts that are required to mountain bike. The grips are on the harder side. They are locking. So when you have your hands locked on them, They're not going to be slipping around, and they're not ergonomic grips, because again, I feel like I'm just repeating myself. This isn't a bike for comfort, for long range comfort. You're not just going to be resting your hands on the handlebars. You're going to be gripping them as you're doing aggressive off-roading. And let's cross it on over. Continue doing our off-roading tests. I do like the gearing of this bike because it does have a big old granny gear. Let me show you guys the cadence of my pedaling. So that granny gear is nice. I can get this nice, easy cadence. We're just going like 5-6 miles an hour. Easy peasy. Good low gear. It's pretty wet over here. But these tires are doing a great job in holding traction. And again, the bigger tires do help a lot in making the bumps feel more tolerable, less noticeable. Larger diameter wheels will help with that. And the low granny gear is just giving me tons of torque. I'm on pedal assist 1 right now. And we're just chilling. We're just cruising. And if I decide to go up this hill, I can easily get up this hill. Bring it up to pedal assist 3. Oh yeah. No sweat. And I'm sure you guys have noticed that this bike does not have any fenders, which a lot of mountain bikes don't. But for e-bikes, you guys are probably used to seeing fenders, and the one downside about not having fenders is your bike will get dirty. So expect to get dirty while using this bike, because everything that you ride over is just going to get kicked up. So I've just got a ton of grass, a little bit of mud everywhere. But we're going to continue riding around in this beautiful field for a little bit. We're going to test out that hill. We'll test out the granny gear, see how it performs. And then we'll keep riding this bike around the roads, get it to maybe 10 to 15 miles, and see what the battery is at voltage-wise. And yeah, right now I've got my butt off the seat. I hear the chain slapping around a little bit, dealing with these bumps. But that's fine, as long as it doesn't fall off. This is a very steep hill, guys. We'll try and pedal up with pedal assist 3. Let's see how this 52 volt system does it. This is a steep hill, and it is on the longer side actually for a steep hill. Let's get the drone out so you can, hopefully this drone will go up the hill with me. Nope, it doesn't know how to go up. Yeah. Follow seems to be the best mode. Let's continue on. We're starting halfway up this hill. Throttle, come on, nope. Need a good pedal spot. This is very steep, guys. All right, there we go. Super steep hill. We'll do that again. Going down, testing the traction and the brakes. Let's do that again. Full power, pedaling hard. Ooh, it's a struggle. We're getting there. Not a lot of bikes can do that, even with pedaling, believe it or not. You need some serious low gearing. All right, that's enough of that. So this bike is probably good for nothing too insanely aggressive, but more on the aggressive side than most other e-bikes. That hill was very steep, and if you did have better gearing, yeah, you'd be able to pedal up that easier. you don't really need more power, because then you get a super heavy system, because with more power, you need a bigger battery. And then that's just a lot of weight, and that's a bigger motor, unless you don't want it to be reliable. So I think this gearing's okay for moderately intense off-roading. Nothing too intense. But here's our infamous sidewalk right now. And with me sitting on the seat, it's god-awful. Again, because I did put 30 PSI into the tires. And this is a hardtail. And this seat is on the firmer side. So you will feel the bumps if you're sitting on the seat all the time. But if your butt's off the seat, obviously it's fine. I do hear that chain slapping around a bit. See if it falls off. This is super bumpy, guys. I like this tractor on the front lawn. I want a tractor on my lawn. Hear that chain? Oh, she's a ringing. Hasn't fallen off though. We're pedaling, guys. Just going 20 miles an hour over this bumpy sidewalk. The two guards on the chain ring probably help with the chain not falling off. All right, guys. So final thoughts after this initial ride on the CirQ X1 Premiere, the 52 volt step over e-mountain bike. For a budget e-mountain bike, it is phenomenal. You get the 52 volts, which gives you a little bit more power. You get the lower than usual gearing, so you get that big grain of gear in the back, which will help you up some moderate hills, even some steeper ones, way more than some other budget e-mountain bikes. You get some slightly higher end parts. Pretty decent derailleur, pretty decent shifter, a pretty good RST guide fork, great textural hydraulic brakes, those are always appreciated, 180 millimeter rotors, good stopping power. I really like the customizability of the display. You could choose your number of pedal assist levels. You can go all the way up to 9 if you really want. I like to keep it simple. We'll just keep it at 3. But it shows you your watts, your voltage. This is a hardtail bike, which means that'll keep it on the lighter side. And for a budget e-mountain bike, I think all budget e-mountain bikes, in my opinion, should be hardtail, because if you get a rear suspension in a budget e-mountain bike, it's probably gonna not be all that great, and it's just gonna be more weight, and it's not really gonna help you all that much with comfort. The power is pretty good on this bike. You get a big 20 amp hour battery, and for a decently powered bike like this, that battery will last you quite a bit, especially considering this is a mountain bike. You're gonna be pedaling this thing. So when you're on the trails, that battery should last you plenty of time. And of course, I almost forgot, you get a bell. So while you're yelling at people on your left, you can also hit the bell. Very little throttle delay, very little pedal assist delay, which is super important if you're going to be pedaling this bike on the trails. The Shimano trigger shifter feels nice. This isn't the most comfortable long-range e-bike, again, because the seat is more geared towards aggressive riding. It's a harder seat. The handlebars are wider, lower, so you're gonna be leaning forwards a bit. So some of you guys watching this video, you're thinking, nah, this is not gonna be a good bike for me. And that's just because you're probably not gonna be mountain biking. If you're not gonna be mountain biking, I would look somewhere else. But if you are mountain biking, if you're gonna be off-roading a lot, and you want something that looks more like a normal mountain bike, I know there's more and more regulations these days, this might be a good option. No ghost pedaling at all. I can get pedaling resistance all the way into the 30s with this bike. Let's check it out. Pedaling hard. Yeah. My legs are not going all that fast, but we're hitting 32. And guys, the link to this e-bike is in the description below. If there's any coupon codes or discounts I could offer you, they will be there as well. Feel free to check it out. What we're gonna do now, guys, is just keep riding this bike around for a little bit longer, get it to 10 miles. And right now I'm gonna show you on the screen what the battery voltage is after 10 miles of riding and letting the battery rest for a little bit. I think it's probably gonna be on the higher side because this is a larger battery, 20 amp hour battery at 52 volts. Let me know in the comments below, what do you think about this e-mountain bike from CirQ, the X1 Premiere, their 52 volt model? What do you like about it? What do you dislike about it? Let me know in the comments below. If you guys like videos like this, please feel free to subscribe to the channel. So mash that notification bell so you don't miss any future videos. Like the video if you like it, and feel free to follow me on social media, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook. And I do have 2 Facebook groups, E-Bike Addicts and High Speed E-Bikes, 40 miles an hour plus. That's it for today, folks. Until next time.